got atheist, not an atheist, but we have a theist named Chuck waiting to get in all the way from Hawaii that says they want people to know that Jesus is the devil. True God is Jehovah. Chuck, am I correct in assuming that you're some kind of a Gnostic or Marcionite, and that this is, you believe in like the demiurge and all that nonsense?
Oh, no. I'm just talking God of the Bible. Jehovah. His name is Jehovah. It's spelled YHVH, and people try to get rid of it because Christians want you to believe that their God, Jesus, is the true God, and they want you to reject Jehovah.
Okay, so the reality is the Old Testament manuscripts were written without vowels. The Paleo-Hebrew had implied vowel patterns, and Yahweh, most likely from all scholarly reconstructions, would have been pronounced as Yahweh. No. This idea that Jehovah is the real name of God only becomes later. Masoretic scribes added vowel pointers to the actual name of Yahweh in order to direct people to say Adonai rather than Yahweh as a way of protecting the divine name. If you read the notes from the Masoretic scribes, this is quite obvious. This is not something that is like revolutionary news. Anyone who bothered to like learn biblical criticism of the Hebrew Bible knows this. The name of God is YHWH or YHVH, depending on what form of Hebrew you speak. And it is not Jehovah. That's strictly a false claim.
I see. Are you a Christian?
No.
Yeah, we're both atheists. You're calling the atheist experience. I don't know why you'd expect us to be Christians.
Well, a lot of people, you people there, used to be Christians.
I don't know how that responds to anything Justin said, and I wish you would respond to what Justin just told you, rather than you trying to go off on some tangent.
Exactly. Okay. The YHVH is pronounced Jehovah. It's not a.
That's not a refutation of anything Justin just told you. Would you like him to repeat it?
So to be clear, in classical Hebrew, the vav is actually a wa. It's pronounced wa, not vav. The v vocalization is for modern Hebrew. So right off the jump, Jehovah is not something that would have been in the vocabulary of the ancient Hebrews, or so they would have put a bait in there rather than a wall. So right off the jump, you've got a problem. That's not how to pronounce it. The second problem are the vowel pointers. The vowel pointers that make it Yahovah, those vowel pointers don't exist originally in Hebrew. Those are added later by Masoretic scribes, the first of which didn't even exist until 200 years after Jesus died. And if you read the notes from the Masoretic scribes, it's not even a question. The reason why Yahovah appears is because they put vowel pointers onto the consonants to lead the reader to pronounce Adonai rather than pronouncing the name Yahweh as a protection of the divine name. The same reason why the Greek Septuagint says Ha-Kyrios, meaning the Lord, rather than the name of Yahweh. The same way the English Bibles say the Lord, all mini caps, rather than saying the name of Yahweh. These are all conventions to protect the divine name from being misused or mispronounced.
Well, the Jews, Jehovah is the God of the Jews. And the Jews pronounce
you restating your claim is not responding to the vast knowledge of how the Hebrew language works. Did you understand anything about what he said? Could you explain what a vowel pointer is, or what a vowel indicator is?
Yeah, you're just trying to get off the point. You're trying to get off.
No, that is the point. Because you're reading the language wrong. You're reading the language wrong. Listen to Justin, and he will tell you how to properly read the language so you know how to properly pronounce the words in Old Hebrew.
Yeah, and listen, you don't have to trust me. Like you can just, for example, like a conservative Christian scholar like Dr. Michael Brown. Dr. Michael Brown, he went to school for Semitics. He will tell you the same thing. Dr. Michael Brown has done this explanation many times. He's not an atheist. He's not trying to poison anyone's mind. He's a real Christian, biblical scholar. So like, I'm not saying anything like ground shaking here. This is what everybody in the field already knows. So I don't want to waste the whole call on the fact that Jehovah isn't the name of God, because I feel like that's not what you came for. I feel like what you came for is to explain how Jesus is actually evil, Jesus is the devil, and Jehovah is the real God. Is that what you wanted to come for?
Well, that is true. Jesus is the devil. Christians worship the Satan and the devil.
So that's the argument I'm curious about. Can you give me that argument? Because I'm most interested to hear how you put this one together.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So what Bible support do you have that would point me towards the idea that Jesus is in fact Satan? Because Jesus refers to Satan in very negative terms. It seems like he would have like split personality. And who was he talking to in the desert when he's in there for 40 days being challenged by Satan? Is he challenging himself?
It was probably the devil who interrupted him,
the devil
on the Damascus, and then took him off into the most of his writings. Most of his writings about and bringing forth this religion, Christianity, most of it comes from Hinduism. In Hinduism, there is one God, Brahman, but he is a trinity. So the Christians have a trinity, which is not in the Bible, and is not Jehovah.
Yeah, the Hindus are not monotheistic by any stretch of the imagination, dude. They're a polytheistic religion by far. So I don't know where you get that at all. That just seems to be really whack jobby out there.
In Hinduism, there is one God, Brahman.
So just to be clear, in Christianity, let's follow along, Chuck. In Christianity, Satan is the devil. It's explicitly stated in Revelation 12:9 and Revelation 22, where it says, the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, right? So the devil and Satan are in fact the same individual.
There you go. Yeah, they're both the devil.
So when the devil challenged Jesus in the wilderness, the devil was Satan. The devil and the Satan are the same individual, which means it couldn't be Jesus.
Well, sure it can. You're talking about the son of Mary. That is not Jesus. His name is Joshua. But the Christian God is
Why are we doing this today?
Jesus.
Okay, listen, nobody cares on how you pronounce the names. None of that is relevant. Like everybody who's went to even 5 Bible studies knows that the name Jesus is multiple transliteration layers away from the actual name of Jesus, which would have been Yehoshua in the long or Yeshua in the short. No one cares about that. That's a useless conversation. When I say Jesus, you know who I mean. So what I'm trying to figure out is how you're figuring that Jesus, the son of Mary, the adopted son of Joseph, how you came to the conclusion that that individual is the same as Satan. That's what I want to know.
No, that's not what I said. There are 2 individuals here. In the first place, there's the Christian God, Jesus. But on the other hand, there is the son of Mary. His name is Joshua. His name is not Jesus. These are 2 separate individual beings. The one is the son of Mary, and the other one is the God of Christianity, named Jesus. But he's the devil.
That is incorrect.
Mary.
So, Chuck, can you read the original? Have you read any of this in the original in the Greek or the Jewish?
I don't read.
Can you read?
I would
You don't
bet
read
money
that.
he
So why
doesn't
are
know
you
Greek,
arguing with
Hebrew, or
somebody who
Aramaic.
can't? Justin actually learned how to read ancient Hebrew, and he's telling you that your pronunciations are wrong. So why are you? What are you basing any of this on? Because Justin is basing it on scholarship and knowledge of the language. You appear to be basing this on a hallucination or smoking entirely too much MJ. I don't know which. So where are you getting this from? And why are you arguing with somebody who can actually read the ancient Hebrew?
Well, look at the Bible. If you read the Bible, you'll see.
He is. He's reading the
his
ancient
name.
Hebrew Bible. What part of that did you not understand?
His name is not Jesus, the Son of Mary.
Again, you're pronouncing it wrong. You're pronouncing it wrong. What part of you can't read the original language and therefore can't seem to understand that you aren't pronouncing any of these names correctly?
Look at the English Bible. It certainly is. When Mary was pregnant.
Okay, we're not talking about the English Bible. We're talking about the original ancient Hebrew.
Okay, so let's back up. Chuck, let's just back up. Okay, so the name Jesus is a transliteration from the Greek, which is Isu. Isu was a transliteration from the Hebrew, from Yeshua. And there's a lot of reasons why you end up with an S at the end of it, because there's nominal endings in Greek and they don't match the same nominal endings in Hebrew. That's just a whole different discussion we don't need to have. So the reality is, when we read Jesus in the English, we know that this gets traced back to Isu in the Greek, and it also gets traced back to Yeshua in the Hebrew. Nobody cares about that argument. That's not a valuable argument. It doesn't add anything to our conversation. What I'm trying to figure out is the identification of this particular individual and how it relates to the Satan figure, because what you're trying to tell us is that, first of all, there's two people that have the name Jesus, obviously not in English. It's not written in English. We're using English. You're saying there's two Jesuses. One of them is Satan. I want to know where you get this idea from.
From Romans. In the Hebrew.
Okay, take me to the verse.
In a Christian book, I don't know which verse, but it says that human sacrifice, this God, Jesus of the devil, Christian God, demands human sacrifice. And it says that we only can.
How do you know Romans says this if you can't give us chapter and verse?
Are you referring to Hebrews 9, the book of Hebrews? Because something comparable to that shows up in the book of Hebrews.
Well, Hebrews is from the devil too. Hebrews says that there's no salvation without human sacrifice, without human bloodshed.
Okay.
Chapter and verse, please.
Oh,
wait,
boy.
You can't give us chapter and verse. You're literally just, are you a troll? Are you trolling us right now? Are you just making stuff up that sounds good to see how we'll react? Because I think that's what you're doing. I can't believe that someone who apparently has such strong beliefs can't actually give us chapter and verse and can't actually defend any of the things that he's saying. I mean, really, dude, you can do better than this. I'm disappointed.
Yes, you are disappointed. You're not paying any attention. You're not discussing, and you're not looking at anything. I don't know the.
You're not giving us anything to look at.
The verse.
You can't give us chapter and verse to go look at. And Justin is talking about exactly what you're saying. He's been saying over and over again, you have no idea what you're talking about. That you don't understand the ancient Hebrew, and therefore you don't understand where the words come from that you're pronouncing and why you're pronouncing them wrong. So we're talking about we're on point, you're all over the place. So can you give us chapter and verse for anything you said?
Well, in Romans it says,
where? Chapter and verse. Romans what?
Do you realize that? Do you realize that Romans
what?
Did not give him the proper preparation for this discussion. So, I
Human
mean,
sacrifice.
listen, we know for a
The Bible
fact
says
that the New Testament teaches that Jesus needed to be sacrificed. No one's questioning that. We know Jesus needed to be sacrificed. I don't know why that matters.
human sacrifice is an abomination. But
It's
Christians,
not.
the Christian
God
religion
demands it.
says we have to have human sacrifice.
God demands it
That's a
in the
lie.
book of Exodus, and Ezekiel agrees. Ezekiel agrees that God demanded child sacrifice in the desert.
What? God
read that
does
one?
not demand human sacrifice.
Hold on, Justin's about to hit
Sure
you with
about
the
that?
Bible right between your eyes.
Okay, well, we're going to go to Ezekiel 23. I think we want about 24, 25, about there in that chapter. Let's see. I think it's Ezekiel 23 or is the chapter we want. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Maybe I typed in the wrong chapter. Let me make sure I'm in chapter 23.
Is it 20, 25 through 26?
20,
Ezekiel?
not 23. I apologize. That's my faulty memory. 23, 25 or 2025.
It's chapter 20, verse 25, 26, I believe is where you're looking.
Yes. It says, moreover, I gave them statutes that were not good and ordinances which they could not live. I defiled them through their very gifts in their offering up of their firstborn in order that I might horrify them so that they might know that I am the Lord. And it gets worse than that. In Leviticus 27, he demands human sacrifice as well.
No, that's not true.
He
Well,
just hit you
let's address
between the eyes
Ezekiel
with
first.
Bible verses. He's reading right out of the Bible, dude. How can you say no? See, this is the difference between you and Justin. You can't give us chapter and verse for anything you said, and Justin's over here giving you chapter and verse for his claims. So who should we believe? Someone who can't give us chapter and verse in the Bible, or someone who can?
Well, human sacrifice is an abomination, says in the Bible. It says
But your
that
God
Yahweh
orders it.
is God.
Sounds like you've just figured out that there's contradictions in the Bible.
That's not what you read. You read that you give your firstborn to God. It doesn't say that sacrifice him. Because you guys are weird.
Yes, that's exactly what it means.
I'll read it again. Don't worry. I mean, we can read it as slow as we need to. We're not in a rush. If you go to Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 25 and 26, God explicitly states that he told them to do a thing, and then he tells them what the thing is, right? So let me grab it again after my mouse starts working. It says, I defiled them through their very gifts in offering up of all their firstborn in order that I might horrify them. The offering up of the firstborn is child sacrifice, which is rooted in Exodus.
Ask that guy Brown you were talking about. Ask him if that's what he says, that God
He's not here.
Human sacrifice.
He's not here.
Well, I know, but get in touch with him sometime.
I don't think that's something he cares to talk about with me.
And you're deflecting from the fact that Justin just hit you between the eyes with the verse that says child sacrifice, and you're over here screaming human sacrifice is evil, and yet your God is commanding it. Whichever God you believe in, it doesn't really matter at this point whether you think Jesus is the devil or not, because you've got God over here commanding human sacrifice, which you were very vocal in saying that it's evil. So now you've got a problem, don't you? Care to try and get yourself out of it?
No, the Bible does not say that God demands human sacrifice. That's a lie. He's saying just because if you give your firstborn to God, that doesn't mean you sacrifice him.
No, it doesn't say offer up to God. It says that It literally uses the same verb in Hebrew, bahaber, which means to pass through the fire. The same thing Jeremiah accuses them of doing, is passing your children through the fire. Offering up is a gentle English translation. It's a fire sacrifice.
No. You guys, geez, you guys are crazy. You ask that guy you were talking about, Brown. He's not going.
Brown has nothing to do with this. Justin is once again beating you up with knowledge, and he's pointing out that what the words mean is child sacrifice. Offer up is just a euphemism for child sacrifice.
It does not. You guys are crazy. Yeah. Ask that guy Brown. Ask any theologian, anybody. If God demanded human sacrifice,
we're not interested in what theologians have to say, because they're going to interpret in whatever way they want to make a theological point. We're interested in what the words actually say. We're interested in the context, which is something that you Christians keep beating us up for, is not having the right context. And here we are giving you the context, and you're just sticking your fingers in your ears and going, nuh-uh. Right? You're the guy who can't seem to give us chapter and verse to support anything you said. And here Justin is not only giving you chapter and verse, he's also giving you a language lesson. So you can stick your fingers in your ears and go, nuh-uh, all you want, but it doesn't change the fact that your God ordered or wanted, desired human sacrifice.
That's a lie.
Doesn't change it.
You're a flat out lie. It is not.
Jim, have you considered nuh-uh?
Yeah. Prove it. Prove that we're lying. Prove that anything that Justin has read to you or told you about the language is wrong. And given your track record so far, I'll set the bar very low. Can you even get close to telling us what the original Hebrew was?
The Bible says human sacrifice is an abomination.
Chapter and verse. Chapter and verse, please. Chapter and verse.
You're an atheist. Why are you worried about verse and Bible in there anyway?
Right, well, I'm asking you to prove your claim. You can't prove your claim. All you're over here doing is attempting to preach, and we're beating, and Justin's over here throwing Bible verses at you, hitting you between the eyes, and you're just a stunned ox trying to figure out where the hell to go. So all you've got is nuh-uh, and you're lying, and nothing else, which is what you've had this entire call. Nothing. You can't give us chapter and verse for anything you said. Everything we said, we've given you chapter, or everything Justin said, we've given you chapter and verse. Can you give us chapter and verse and prove that we're lying?
What kind of atheists are you guys anyway, that you're arguing on the favor of the Bible?
No, so it's a yes. It's a yes or no question. Chuck, it's a yes or no question. Can you give us chapter and verse for anything that you've said?
Romans says Jesus is the devil.
That's a chapter. That's the book. I didn't ask for the book. I asked for chapter and verse. So good, you got the book. Where's the chapter and verse, buddy?
What kind of atheists are you guys anyway? You're not atheists.
Dodge, whack. Let me whack you again. You gave us the book, Romans. We want the chapter and verse.
Wow. You're an atheist. Why in the heck are you worried about verse and the Bible?
Because I think you're making shit up to suit yourself, and I want you to defend your position.
Well, the Bible says human sacrifices demand by the Christian God, and that there is no salvation.
Chapter and verse.
Humans.
Don't give us Romans. Give us Romans chapter and verse to prove what you're saying. You keep making the same claims over and over again, and you keep dodging the question. So I want chapter and verse. Otherwise, everything you say is a lie, and you're a liar.
You guys are crazy. What kind of atheists are you guys?
Dodge.
You're dependent.
You're dodging again. Answer the question. Can you give us chapter and verse?
You don't need it.
Are you lying?
The Bible says that Jesus.
Chapter and verse, or you're lying. chapter and verse, or you're lying.
You guys are crazy.
Okay.
You're crazy for asking you to quote the Bible to us?
Yeah. He's just going to keep doing this over and over again. He has nothing to support any of his claims.
I'm getting troll vibes.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you one more question, Chuck, and then we're going to move on to an adult that's not in concussion protocol. Did God sacrifice Jesus? Did Jehovah sacrifice Yeshua?
No.
Okay, just checking. All right, so you don't believe Romans, because Romans says the opposite. It says in Romans 3:25, God put forward a sacrifice of atonement by his blood, effective through faith, referring to Jesus. So Jehovah is God.
That's all from the devil.
Jesus was a sacrifice.
The
Romans is from the devil now.
Romans is from the devil, but weren't you just quoting Romans? Weren't you just saying Romans said something, and now you're saying Romans is from the devil? Wow. Are you concussed? Both things can't be true, right? You can't say that Romans says something and then say Romans is from the devil. It doesn't make any sense.
So sacrifice is an abomination until God does it.
You guys are mental. You guys are
reading your book to you.
That's all you've got. Wow, you have nothing. You're a giant nothing burger of nothingness.
Is the book of Revelation from God?
No. It's from the devil.
What book in the Bible is from God?
All of the writings of Paul are from the devil.
So only Paul. Oh no, Paul. So which ones are from God?
The other ones.
Like the Gospels.
Oh, dude, you don't sense the trap that Chuck's laying for, or excuse me, that Justin's laying for you, Chuck? Do you think there's a Bible verse in there that Justin can't quote to you to prove that your God is not what you think he is, and that you are full of nothing?
I know who Jesus is. He's the devil. His book from Paul.
But you said that Jesus is the devil because of Romans, and then you said Romans is of the devil. So guess what? Both things can't be true. Romans cannot be both true and not true at the same time. That's logically impossible. And that's exactly what you're claiming. And now that we've got you on, now that Justin keeps firing these Bible bombs at you and you keeps exploding your brain into nothingness, now you're trying to dodge it with saying, well, all the rest of them. So, because you can't give us chapter and verse, which means you haven't studied the Bible at all.
Yeah, because even the gospel, Mark 8:31, says that Jesus taught them that the Son of Man must undergo great suffering and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. So Mark's not from God either?
Mark? Oh, yes, he was killed. He was
sacrificed.
Died on that cross. He was nailed to the cross and he died.
Sacrificed.
But
for sin.
Not a human sacrifice.
Listen, if he got sacrificed and he's a human, that's human sacrifice. This is how words are. But listen, we're running out of time. We've got to as enjoyable as this is, we've got a caller who's been waiting for quite some time. I want to hear their thoughts before we end the show. But Chuck, listen, you've been here for 28 minutes. I've enjoyed all 1 minute of it. I appreciate you calling in. Do call back. It was, if anything, interesting. It was new. I honestly say the stuff that came out of your mouth, these are things that I don't know if I'll ever hear again.
And I hope we don't. But if you do call back, try and come back with chapter and verse. And try to be able to defend your claims, because they're pretty outlandish, and they certainly don't jive with anything we know about the Bible. So good luck.
Can you leave me on?
That guy was wild.
Yeah. That he had to have been on something.
There's something going on there.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't think he's ever read the Bible, honestly. Much less actually studied it. So,
but he did his own research, I'm sure, on YouTube, if I had to guess.
honestly, I don't think it was even. I don't know how you. What apologist is spouting this BS? You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to know.
I'm trying to figure out where he could have gotten it from, and I'm like, I have no idea because nobody.
It's hard to know.
Yeah. Oh, who's the guy? Oh shoot. There's one sort of kind of apologist I'm thinking of that got smoked by a young Christian scholar and apologist. Just smoked. He actually pulled things off, pulled copies of the originals off the shelves.
Oh, yeah, when Wes Huff cooked Billy Carson.
Yeah, Billy Carson. Billy Carson. He might be some Billy Carson fan.
Yeah. That you're right. That's the type of person that he probably tunes into, is like the Billy Carson. These people it's amazing that anyone listens to them. They have no idea. And it only takes the slightest bit of pressure for their entire worldview to crack. But I don't know, people, they buy into it.